Today we're checking out how to set up difficulty settings. So when you play different levels at different difficulties, they are set up with different values and you can change the way your level works out. So over here we've got easy, normal, and hard. You can see whenever we mouse over a different selection, the difficulty actually changes. You can see this on the right. I have the difficulty manager selected, which is within our hierarchy. It is a singleton, so it will not be destroyed on load, and it will persist as we go through all the levels throughout the game. So we have a single point of entry for anyone, or rather any class that actually needs the values from it. So whenever we do make a new selection, the difficulty changes and we have a new high score that's being reloaded. Over here, we have assigned easy, normal, and hard scriptable objects to the difficulty settings. It makes tweaking these very easy. You can go in, you can change the values between easy and hard. We can see we've got different values taking effect when we actually do enter the game. So, how does it actually work? Let's bring up Rider over here. We've got the difficulty manager. This is what we just saw. We've got easy settings, normal, hard, and this is the difficulty settings scriptable object. Let's quickly go into it to have a look. It is very simple. It is a scriptable object, so it follows the same paradigms as everything else. You have to create it from the menu. You then assign some values to it, and then you plug it into the manager. Nice and simple. This could be anything that you want, say like player jump height, player boost speed. Say you want on harder difficulties, they don't boost as much, you can definitely do that. So that is the difficulty settings. Moving back to the manager, it always tracks what the current difficulty settings have been selected. So that is what you saw as the last item in that list. For the difficulty manager, you can see that it'll always update to that. And everything in this game will actually read only the current difficulty settings. They don't know the rest exist. So, going back. So we have the current difficulty. We just have a simple enum here in case we actually just want to read what the difficulty is. So we're associating normal, hard, and easy as the enums. So up here, you can see public enum, difficulty, easy, normal, hard, and we've just bound those enums, or rather based on the cases, to the different difficulty settings that we have configured. So it's saying that, hey, if you were to set a new difficulty to normal, set the current difficulty settings to the normal settings. Same with hard, easy, and we have just a default setting over there for this case. So how do we actually use this? Let's go to, let's have a look. Let's go to the death wall. So this is, once you actually click on a difficulty in that list, you start the game and there is this wall that's chasing the player. And we want to set up these settings. So you can see this is very similar to the difficulty settings we have over here. And what we're doing is we're going to load some values into that. So while we can play with this and decide how it works within it, we are then going to record that. We're going to set it up in the scriptable object so that we have a persistent settings that we can use and we can tweak between the different difficulties. So what we have here is very simple. On start, you can even do this on awake. It depends how you're managing your life cycle. We decide to do it on start. We have low difficulty settings, and it's very simple. It gets the instance of the difficulty manager, and we're getting the current difficulty. As I had shown earlier, we use this for everything because these are private. We are always trying to find out what the current difficulty settings are over here when we actually need to get values. So we've got, we just give it some variable name, and then we just assign base speed, acceleration, etc. into the difficulty settings base speed per block. Or rather, the other way around, the base speed gets placed into our base speed from the scriptable object into this class. And that's what we're doing. We are loading all the values beforehand, and then pretty much everything else you don't even have to touch. You can do this towards the end of your implementation. You have everything set up, and all you need to do is just add some way of loading difficulty settings. Now, of course, this is one way to do it. Another way that you can do this is, say, if you're going to be having low difficulty settings everywhere, a very good way to improve on this is to, say, make this an interface. So where you have a monitor behavior, you know what? Let's do it. Let's actually make it. So we have the difficulty settings. Let's just throw in class interface. Let's say I difficulty loader, or we could say user. So anyone that actually uses the difficulty is what we're calling this. And we'll just have a nice and simple, let's go void load difficulty. Sure. In fact, let's pass in some difficulty settings. Yeah, sure. Let's do this. I difficulty user. And we're going to go back. We're going to go back to our death wall. We're then going to add it here. It's going to say, hey, warning, we need to implement some members. We're going to just quickly implement them. Have Ryder do the work. Low difficulty settings, where we have that. We're just going to grab this, stick it there. Replace all these instances. And get rid of this guy. And we're now going to load the difficulty over here, passing in our manager. Difficulty manager.instance.current difficulty settings. And voila. It will work pretty much exactly as before. And yeah, nice and simple. This is actually how you do set it up. And hopefully this has helped someone out there. Thanks for watching.